What is up, everyone? Hello to you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Here we go.
Yes.
Welcome to Why It Matters. This is our podcast that
It
we
is.
decided we want to do. We don't know what we're calling it, but
We just
details going into the new year. But guys, we're here talking about real estate, lending, investing, living your best life, all of that into one. So we're really excited about it. I'm Justin Knoll.
And I'm Nicole Ruth. So thank you guys so much for joining us as we want to bring you guys together along with us with everything that's going on at the time and diving into a subject that means a lot to your clients, to you, and to why it matters right now.
There you
So
go.
I don't know. There's a lot going on. You guys can't see the desk and the craziness of my papers, but I feel a little newscaster-ish. I want to go like
it.
this.
I like
wanna-
it.
I
Yeah,
wanna-
there you go.
I-
And
I
that's
need
the
to do- I need to
news.
do that.
Well, before we get going though, we gotta
Yes.
give some love to the crew back here. This is a fun day for us. I really love doing this. But we want to say hello to our pod queen. Ashley is
Yes.
here working it.
What up? Merry
Ashley.
Christmas.
We got Peter. He is the handler of all things
He is.
Nicole and life and all of
He
us.
is.
So hello, Peter. Hey, what's going on? There's best Barry White there. Guys, we love
You are
doing
no
this.
Barry White.
This is so fun. He is no Barry White.
No, very white. But how are you doing? Can you believe it's Christmas
No.
this weekend?
I cannot.
I'm
cannot.
really struggling.
It's I did throw me off this morning. It was almost 7 o'clock and it was still dark. I'm not
Yes.
okay with this. So let's move this winter right
Yeah.
along. But yeah, holidays are here. I rejoice, right?
We had our Christmas tree up at Thanksgiving. We did all of our Christmas shopping on Sunday morning on Amazon on the couch. And if it could not be delivered within 3 days, it got scratched from the list.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that's how it worked at our house.
Christmas 2023. This is how we do. When's the last time you went to a mall to shop for Christmas?
It's been a couple years.
Yeah.
It's been a couple years.
I used to love that. I used to really
Yeah.
enjoy that. No.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Amazon, for all
Yes.
that you do, keeping us good to go. What's going on with you? What's
Yeah.
you and I have been talking quite a bit about kind of wrapping up 23
Yes.
and you putting a bow on this thing or just whatever.
Right.
It wasn't our favorite year, but we made it through.
Yeah.
A lot going on, a lot coming up in 2024. I know you want to talk about kind of some things that you see coming up and
I do. So, in talking about everybody wants to see 2023 gone,
yes.
right? I've just gotten to the point to where I no longer want to talk about 2023
Correct,
being
yes.
gone. I mean, we're
bad word.
coming up on the last 2 weeks of the year. So here we are with not only our ability to say bye, Felicia, to 2023, but to start really hyper focusing on 2024. So, and right at the end of the year, of course, Fed Chair Powell throws us all a massive pivot, right? And I'm not going to complain about it because it dropped the interest rates. And although the mortgage purchase application data just came out this morning showing that we dropped 1%, personally, our team saw a massive uptick in the number of people that we've been talking to.
When did that start? In the last couple of weeks, or was it real recent?
Last Wednesday when
Was it
Fed
really?
Chair Powell changed everything.
So it was like
yeah,
that? Wow.
overnight.
That's
So
great.
all of a sudden, people are talking about the fact that, oh my gosh, I just heard that Fed Chair Powell is going to drop the Fed rate 3 times. So that means I need to get in and I need to get in fast before this entire demand picks up again, right? And so forget about the fact that the market has already assumed 5 to 6 rate cuts next year based on this new news. Fed Chair Powell has continued to come out and other Fed members talking about the fact of, whoa, yes, but,
Maybe.
right?
Yeah.
Like not right away. And we don't want them to drop the Fed rate instantly and dramatically because that means we're coming crashing into a recession versus this easing into a recession that they all want. So where I'm looking at, I want to talk a little bit about forecasting. I want to talk a little bit about the challenges that we're going to see as buyers, but I want to kind of start out with this market that we're in. Where do we think rates are going to go? Where do we think units are going to go or sales? Where do we think home prices are going to go?
Okay.
The NARs, the MBA, Realtor.com, some of the data aggregators. But here's where I land every time. When we think about why it matters, when you're seeing these massive headlines that so-and-so thinks that such and such is going to happen, right? And it's big.
Right.
Redfin thinks that sales are going to come crashing down, or somebody thinks that interest rates are going to drop down into the 4s. I'm going to bring that up in just a second. Whereas somebody else thinks interest rates are going to be 7.5. And I'm like, well, it's a little late for that. All the things, right? All the things. Bottom line, 2024 will be exactly what you make it. That's my forecast. I'm going to stake my claim in that one.
I love that.
So 2024 is going to be exactly what you make it. It's going to be the number of transactions you create. It's going to be the conversations around the rates that you address. And it's going to be based on the prices you negotiate. So you will have the business that you create. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I love this so damn much. Do you think, and I get tied into this sometimes because I do enjoy data. I love trying to connect the pieces and find the puzzle that comes together through data. But I do find myself getting into places of paralysis at times, right? Where it's just too much. And then I step back and go, I don't even know what to think. I don't even know how I started this research that I'm doing. You kind of forget the overall picture. Do you experience that either with yourself, within your team, with consumers, with agents that you work with? Or do you feel like that is your kind of focus and, hey, I got this from here? Where do you land? What do you observe in people on data and all this stuff?
There is a massive amount of uncertainty going on right now. I mean, we're all, as the Fed threw us into this massive pivot, as they went dovish and it started to change the market, then all of a sudden you have all of this economic data that's coming out, which is some of it's counter to the report that just came out yesterday, right? Yeah. And all of a sudden you're like, okay, the economy's doing well. Oh my gosh, the economy's in the toilet. Oh my gosh, the consumers are spending, right? Yeah. So it's all this. So there will be consumers that will sit on the sidelines. And then there will be consumers that look for opportunities. Bottom line, I and my team are going to continue to be focusing on building the best business we can in the market that we know to be true at that moment. It's literally week by week. And I think 2024 will be a normalizing year.
I agree.
But it very well could be the end of the year before we get to what anybody would consider normal, right?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
And as you go through that, you don't go into the craziness that we've been in literally since 2020 and come out of it unscathed, whole, right? Or not bipolar neurotic. So if we're all bipolar neurotic, I mean, we're just going to accept this and we're just going to, but I've gone through, and I'm not going to do it right now. Lawrence Yun came out with this whole, numbers game of the next 2 years and how many people are going to be born and deaths and turning 65 and all the things. And so much opportunity.
I love that stuff. But
wow, yeah, but it just means, and we're at the bottom. So we're at record low mortgage purchase application data. So any new mortgage purchase applications or any new demand is good and seen as big. And then we're really at record low real estate transactions. I mean, existing home sales are under 4 million nationwide, right? So we are walking into an uncertain year. We're walking into a political year. We know that doesn't necessarily affect interest rates. It affects psyches.
Yes,
right?
Behavior. Yep.
So we're walking into the uncertainty of a political year. We're walking into an uncertainty of a recession and the dynamics of that recession. We just had an extremely stellar GDP in the third quarter of 2023, yet we're expecting the GDP or the measure of the strength of the economy to be under 1%. So that's a significant shift in 2024, which tells you that the economy is going to slow down. You've got this massive consumer debt. You've got where they've spent out all their savings. Student loans are back. So all of a sudden you're going to have this pullback, right? But we know inflation is slowing. And if I take housing out of the inflation numbers, which just recently went from 3.2% to 3.1%, if I pull out housing, it's 2. I mean, we're at the target, but the numbers don't show. We know that rents are coming down, but that doesn't show up in the inflation numbers.
I did see that the other day. Rents were coming down in some areas. It was double digits drops quickly. I was like, ooh, we haven't seen that in a long, long time.
Yes. It's the massive amount of multifamily. In fact, the number of multifamily under construction right now, record highs. record highs. Now they're pulling back on the permits. So we're not going to see as much inventory behind what's coming to market. But we've got a record number of multi-unit buildings, apartments, complexes, whatever, right? Multifamily coming on the market because it record numbers under construction. So it isn't even on market yet.
So this multifamily stuff, is this true demand that people want this, or is this just being built because it's the maximum profit margins a developer can make?
100%. It's so much cheaper to go up than out. 100%. And you have to think that they've been in the pipeline. You don't pull a permit, get all your suppliers, and then start construction the next day.
Right. Pre-COVID, a lot of these projects.
It could be that they were planned, and some of them got sold off and some of them got canceled. And you also have this stability. So we're walking into 2024 with uncertainty. We're walking into a political year. We're walking into an economic slowdown. We know that. And then we're also walking into 2024 with this incredible stability of the housing market. 40% of all homes don't even have a mortgage on them. And then 62% of all the mortgages have a 4% or lower. I mean, we talk about all the time that 90% are locked in under 6. Well, now we're getting back into the 6s, but 62% are locked in under 4. So you've got 40% of the homes don't even have a mortgage, and another 62% of the 60% that do are locked in under 4. So you're not going to see, in 2024 is not going to be the year of inventory.
Correct. Yeah. No churn there.
No.
I'm not moving.
A lot of people aren't. No. And so people obviously do because of change of job and all the things that we've talked about, but you're not going to do it just for the sake of doing it to move into a smaller place for more money.
That's right.
Right.
Yep.
So all of this is happening. Meanwhile, you look at the major aggregators, Case-Shiller, FHFA, CoreLogic, Black Knight, and Zillow, all saying that this year we're seeing a 6 to 7% appreciation. Now, the year's not up because those data aggregators are typically a month or two delayed. So they don't have some of them don't have October, and we don't have November, December yet. So we're going to see that come down because we always do at the end of the year. But still, that included a mortgage rate of 8% in 2023. So we still are going to have these supply constraints.
So interesting.
And then last point, we're walking into 2024 with the worst affordability in 40 years. We knew that, right? Yeah. And in fact, we had done some video shorts about this. Black Knight actually came out saying that in order for us to get back to normalized affordability, we have to see either the 30-year fix drop by 4.5%. We have to see wages increase by 62%.
To 4.5% or by 4.5%?
By 4.5%. And this is when they were at 7, right? So, and then prices have to drop 38%. So one of those three things have to happen, which none of the three things are going to happen. None of the three things are going to happen. And all in all, Fannie Mae called 2023 surprisingly resilient for the housing market. I want to ask our viewers today, how many of you feel surprisingly resilient? I don't feel it.
I'm surprisingly tired, worn out, and beat up.
Same. We all are, I think.
I think therapists are probably the ones winning in a market like this.
I have not said I need a therapist as much as I have in the last 2 weeks. I have finally just owned that fact.
I think we all need therapy.
We all need therapy.
And we do have a question for you guys.
Yes.
So do you know how many of the single family homes being built are the single family built for rent homes?
So we're seeing that the single family permits are extremely strong. In fact, they're up 10% year over year.
Okay.
I don't know how many of those. I'd have to break down the data to see how many of those are for sale versus for rent. But I'll tell you, a lot of them are going to be for sale, even though there are, I know, neighborhoods for rent. There are a lot of builders that are trying to fill the need right now because the demand is off the charts.
That was so sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that was been so interesting over the last couple of years is seeing builders build with the specific sole intent to rent. That has never happened in my career. And to see that over the last couple of years was somewhat jarring for my brain to go, okay, what is driving this? I mean, it's obvious what drives it, but what an interesting approach for the builders to
it is
just say, okay, this is where we got to go now to maximize.
Well, and typically those builders aren't just building them for themselves though, right? They have an investor, they're backed by the Black Knights or the large institutional investors, or simply going into conjunction with a team or real estate team. So it is interesting as we see this roll out this year. I do think that that builders are going to be part of the solution. But when I look at the numbers on the forecast, we're only expecting new home sales to be up about $150,000 or $150,000, 150,000 units over where we've been, like relative to 2019. So it's not going to solve the fact that we've dropped below 4 million. And typically, in 2019, we were seeing just under 5 million existing home sales. So for new home sales to increase by 150,000, not going to solve for million. Right. So it's not going to solve all the problems. We know that. But when you start putting numbers to it, you realize it's just a pinch of opportunity. So here's some predictions, right? Let's kind of throw this in, and then let's talk a few minutes about challenges. And then you've got so many things talking about, okay, we're taking this data and we know that we've got this uncertainty. We know that we've got volatility. We know that we've got strapped situations still. Then how are we addressing that in our business? Which is what I'm so excited about hearing from you, right? So here's where we think rates are going to go. I just want to throw out these predictions because remember, my prediction is 2024 will be exactly what you make it, right? But here's where rates could be anywhere from, we've got Wells Fargo at the end of 2024 saying that we're expecting an interest rate of 6.1. Okay. And I've actually heard that from a couple of people. Okay. To the highest one is Fannie Mae of 7.2. Hello, interest rates are 6.6 already.
I'm going to say something I never say. Come on, Wells Fargo. Be ready.
We're voting for Wells Fargo, right? And then everything in between. There were a couple of interviews within this last week. The CEO for Mortgage News Daily, who I often quote as far as giving us the interest rates, the average interest rates across the country every single day, Matthew Graham came out saying that if we continue to see economic data on a trajectory as we've seen it, we could see interest rates in the high 4s to low 5s by the end of this year. That is by far one of the lower predictions I've seen so far. Yeah. And he is a super data geek. Now, I don't want to say that the economic forecasters at Wells Fargo and MBA and all of them aren't super data geeks, but of course, Matthew Graham is one perspective. Dan Rawich is a bonds options trader. He's also the CEO for I can't do my R's today. Weight Watch. Rate Watch.
She looked at me and said, Weight Watchers. I don't know what that meant.
I was going to say, isn't that a diet plan?
Here we go, New Year. Subliminal.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying. I didn't have to say. Rate Watch. I'm going to work on my R's over Christmas.
Thank you. Thank you. My psyche will appreciate it.
Dan said that we could expect to see an interest rate as low as 5.875 by the first quarter 2024. 5.875 by the first quarter 2024.
That is a ton of movement.
It's a ton of movement. Now, we've just seen a ton of movement, right? I mean, it took us 7 weeks to drop from 8% to 7.1, which was still fast. Yeah. Then in a day, we dropped another quarter. And then in 2 days, we dropped another quarter after that. So for Dan to say he expects it to be 5.875. Now, remember, first quarter, you're still talking about 4 months, right? Yep. Now, he's talking about this based on the fact that our 10-year treasury yield has broken below the trend line and that we've started to see inflation drop, and the fact that if you realize the actual rental numbers, that inflation is actually lower than the 3.1 that's publicized. So in all of this, he's looking at a lot of economic data saying that it's going to be 5.875. I am certainly not going to stake my flag on that hill. I'm not doing it. No. But I will tell you the number of phone calls and demand and conversations I had with rates dropping from 8 to 7.1 and 7.1 to 6.875 was tremendous. So if we actually do see 5.875, you have to know that going into the spring season, we're going to see this massive uptick in demand.
Yeah. What is the rate number, again, predicting, right?
Yes.
That would get homeowners with a 4.5. What is there a tolerable
the R's.
It's the R's. What's tolerable for them to go, okay, I can move at this point. It's maybe a few $100 difference in payment or whatever. Do you see what that would look like to get some of these people to move in the 4s?
There's a lot of expectation that 5.5 will release the gates, right? Okay. And I don't know that we'll know that until we see it. we already saw a 20% uptick in our mortgage purchase applications just with the 8% to 7.1 drop. Interestingly enough, mortgage purchase application data just came out this morning and it was actually down 1%. We're coming up on the holidays, Christmases. Who wants to get under contract right now? Although I have a ton of phone calls coming in right now. People are,
It's busy.
yeah,
It's busy.
and they're jumping on, they're in the home. They just got home from seeing the home. They just did a showing. I need to do a loan application. I want to put an offer in on this home. I'm like, what happened? Where did this come from? All right. So sales expectations, forecast for sales really quickly. We're expecting anywhere right now, we're sitting just under 4 million units sold for annualized for the country, right?
3.8 somewhere in there. I think
Yes, it just came out
Okay.
today or yesterday. So Fannie Mae is saying 4.2 by the end of next year, all the way up to the highest is NAR saying that they're expecting to see 5.1. 2019 was 5.34 million. So all are under normal numbers still. And that's kind of what I'm reading across the board is we're still expecting this to be slightly better than 2023,
Okay.
not yet quite back to 2019,
Okay.
which we're moving in that direction.
Normalcy is coming, perhaps.
Realtor.com is actually one of the only ones that have broken it up by metro. And so far they're saying that Denver specifically is going to see a 15% drop in existing home sales and a 5% drop in home prices. That seems extreme to me.
That seems like a lot.
That seems like a lot. But,
Okay.
they're doing this based on affordability. And we already know that it's unaffordable, but we also know that a lot of people are moving in town, right? Because of that. And then lastly, prices. So it's really narrow. We've got some that are expecting, MBA is saying by the end of the year, they're only expecting about a 0.1% drop. Now that's only for existing homes, not new homes. They're seeing new home sale prices going up. So all in all, it balances. And then NAR is saying that they're expecting by the end of the year to see about a 4% increase, and Redfin about a 4.6% increase. I think that this is narrow enough that some neighborhoods are going to see a flat, some neighborhoods are going to see it go down slightly, and some neighborhoods you see it go up. We're going to see an increased demand on limited inventory, but that increased demand on limited inventory is simply going to take away the negotiating power that buyers have had and the ability to get the 2-1 buy downs and the closing costs paid for and the drop in prices. So where they might be going in at list, I don't know how much over list we're going to be seeing or an expansion of that appreciation, but we're going to lose. What we lose, I think, is more than what we gain. We lose the negotiating power as a buyer.
Yeah.
Right.
Some of that's going into getting you in the
Yes.
home. Okay.
So
Oh,
I just, I just want to kind of end with this because I don't want to run out of time and there's so much more to talk to. And I want to beat you up for a few minutes. So,
I love it. Let's go.
So one of the challenges that we'll continue to talk about is affordability. And I played with some numbers here. If you had a buyer, if I had a borrower
Okay.
who said that they could afford a $3,000 principal and interest payment, which is maybe let's equate that to a $3,500 total all in with escrows, which is fair. I mean, that's $3,500 seems like a relatively normal
Okay.
thing to say. So $3,000 principal and interest, when rates were 3%, that would have bought you a $700,000 home. Rates at 7%, which is they're just under 7% now, that buys you a $450,000 home.
My goodness.
And if rates just drop to 6, because right now they're hovering in that 6.625, that bumps it up $50,000 to $500,000. So this is why this matters, right? So we've got these predictions that nobody knows for sure because it's all based on geopolitical events, based on what the Fed does, based on inflation. Inflation could turn back up again and rates could go back up again. Ultimately, we don't know. So we have these predictions. We have this stalling economy, right? We've run out of our savings, yet we continue to want to spend. We've got these challenges of higher than previous interest rates and low affordability. So here's my solution to us. And here's why we talk about this and why I think this matters so much as we go into what you're talking about and how you can arm yourself to be that best agent for 2024 is we have to get super creative in our conversations. We have to look for opportunities where we can get them. The 2-1 buy downs on a home that's been sitting on the market. the renovation loans for homes that have, again, been sitting on the market. We have to help our buyers recalibrate their expectations, right? So if I can't afford my perfect home, can I afford my perfect investment? Right? Can I move into it as an investment, or can I widen my network and expand what I'm looking at? And can I use it as a bridge? Maybe I never want to become an investor, and that sounds great, Nicole, but I don't want to do it. Can I just move into something where I'm starting to gain that equity, and then in 3 to 5 years use that equity for the next purchase and the next purchase? Because at least I'm gaining something versus rent. I'm simply gaining something for somebody else, my landlords, right? So can I look at opportunities to negotiate while they exist? Can I look at loan programs like the 2-1 buy downs, the renovation loans? And do I know everything I need to know about down payment assistance programs? Because we've talked about the number of adults that are between the ages of getting kicked out of the house and buying their first home. And it's a lot, right? So do we have all the down payment assistance program opportunities, or are we partnered with that lender, or do we have that A team that has the down payment assistance? And I'm not saying just down payment assistance for people that don't have enough money to put a down payment down. I'm talking about give that money back to your buyer so that they can offer over asking. And you're using the down payment assistance to pay for the down payment, freeing up their down payment to offer over asking. We have to go into this next year thinking slightly differently.
How do we give the edge back to the buyer?
How do we give the edge back to the buyer? Yep.
Freeing up that cash. I bought my first condo when I was 21, and I used Aurora down payment assistance, and it was a game changer, right? I could have liquidated my savings and been right back. I remember signing the documents right there. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to afford $460 payment.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. But without that down payment assistance, there was no way. There was no way. So, and it's still going. Has it expanded out?
You can do multiple down payment assistance programs. We just had Mercy Tucker on yesterday,
So
talking about the additional $10,000 grants that she gives. I mean, there are so many opportunities to help that buyer, and that you should also be talking about how are they improving their credit? How are they saving in this market? Have they set their budget, and are they working towards it? Having roundtable discussions, having small group conversations, setting up masterminds. These are the kinds of things that I'm doing with the real estate agents that we're working with right now, because I think it's so important that we take it to the streets, that we meet our buyers right where they're at.
I love that. I think doing a class for I want to buy, but I'm not quite there.
Yes.
But I want to be in the game. Getting those people together in a community, I think would be so incredibly powerful.
It is when you see their eyes light up going, I can do this.
Yeah, I can do this.
Right?
Oh, that's the greatest.
So all of this matters to go, the headlines are happening and they're massive, right? But when you break it down, the numbers aren't that dramatic, and it's going to be slightly better than 2023. So what is going to continue to exist is affordability issues, right? So we have to continue to break through that and offer up opportunities by getting as creative as we can, and then creating the kind of programming and opportunities where we can have those conversations.
Love it.
Yeah.
Who better than you?
It's
to
so
deliver that.
This is such a fun time. The phone calls that we're having, the creative strategies that we're having, in helping people. We had this one example. I just got off I didn't just get off the phone. I talked to her the other night, and she was debating whether or not to put in an offer. So it was a $550,000 condo with an $800 HOA. It was in the 700s. So when we're looking at that HOA, to me, immediately, I'm like, wow, that's high.
Yeah.
But then I was like, okay, but what's your goals?
Yeah.
Right. So when listening to her goals, she was 3 years from retirement. She wanted a single story. Views were really important to her, and amenities, and to have 3 bedrooms. So the reason the price of this condo was lower is because the HOA was higher. But overall, what she was paying was giving her the flexibility and the assurity and the certainty of creating a space where she could retire. So when at first she was like, I can't make up my mind. This $800 HOA is so massive. And at first I was like, oh my God, it is massive.
Right.
And then after I backed out of that, and we really talked about what's important to you. Where are you going? What are your current finances? What do you need your finances to be as you're 3 years from retiring? And then let's set up a strategy for doing that. And how do we buy before you sell? And how do we finance everything? The conversation was long and lengthy and deep. And it was exactly what she needed, because she went from not calling me because she was scared to finally calling me, I need to put in an offer right now, to then ghosting me because I got afraid again, to
Jeez.
deciding I need to make this offer, and I feel confident after working with you to make this offer, to having the real estate agent calling me saying
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah.
That's what she needed. That's the opportunity that we have when we have just enough data to understand what's happening so that we can help our clients get over that
Yep.
fear.
Yep. I think one thing that we know going forward, and I'm going to talk not today, I want to bring more specifics to you guys about what the realtor of tomorrow is going to look like and what they
Yes.
should be focused on. And one thing I do know for sure is that people consuming today, younger consumers, want to negotiate with data in their hands, right? They want to negotiate not on personality or moods or, you know, how things feel as much as my generation and probably others have, but now it's very data driven. And I think that's what's helping people gain clarity to make those decisions now. So friends, if you're out there and you've got people sitting and not making a decision, whether the answer is no or yes really doesn't matter, but help them find that clarity and running through these numbers, these scenarios, and asking those questions like, what is your ultimate goal here? That's incredible. If you're not doing that, they're probably freaking out. Right.
And if she's in her position, she doesn't care what the appreciation is going to be. She doesn't care about
It's
some of the things
enjoyment,
that
right?
we're going. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And making it work at today's interest rates with all the things. So as you're coaching your real estate agents and you continue to take on more clients,
Yes.
as you're coaching your real estate agents, how are you working through all this data, and what are you seeing as the most critical things that they should be thinking about going into this next year?
Yeah, I think data is super important, right? You should always know what the interest rates are, what days on market is, what the inventory is, what average sales price is, all that stuff, the negotiation percentages, list to sales price ratios, all that. But I do think at some point we get too far into the weeds with it, because buying a home mostly for most people is an emotional thing, right? It gives them a feeling, it gives them something they want to attach to an experience in life, or this is the family we've been working for and here it is, right? And there's no rates or money that's really going to change their mind in a lot of instances. Now there's the others on the periphery that are so data driven, but you better know it, you better know how to communicate it, you better be updated on it, right? You do not use data that's a month old, 2 months old, because today's consumer has access to all that information. And guess what, guys? They're using it. They're investigating it, right? Today's consumer, I know when I started, I'm 47. When I bought a house, and every time I would buy a house and go to an inspection, it's myself and my wife, right? And the inspector, and that's who's there. Well, today's consumer, people in their 20s and 30s, when they go to these inspections or closings or whatever, they're bringing 18 people, right?
Yes.
Because they want buy-in. They
Yes.
want people to give them that feeling you're doing the right thing, right? We
Yeah.
want to be validated in what we're doing. So that's we have to understand that today's consumer is not yesterday's. Like this, it's switched.
I mean,
quickly.
Generation Z is really dependent
They're-
on what their peers think.
That's exactly right.
And their family. Like they want that
100%.
validation.
Yep.
Yes,
And that is
important.
the power of influence, right? And that's really what I want to talk about today is influence, right? It's a beautiful word when used correctly, but I think one thing that's happened over the last several years is the use of influence in social media. We immediately go, they're an influencer, right? Ooh, they got to be cool, or they got to have some sort of message, or ooh, how many followers, and ooh, all this. I don't do social. I'm terrible at social. I don't think there's much value to it. There are some values, but it's just not my jam, right? So when I hear influencer, I don't think about that person that's trying to get me to buy something or follow them or whatever. I think about local influence. And what I mean is, I'm going to challenge you guys over this next couple of weeks and this holiday is to think about your circle of greatness. Your circle of greatness is the 5 people you choose to spend time with voluntarily, right? This is not, oh, it's my kids because they're living here. No, it's who you choose to spend time with. That is your circle of greatness. And you should have 5 of them that are uplifting, that are where you want to be. As my stepdad would always tell us, you know, if we were doing something, he'd say, and we'd ask a question, he said, I've been where you're trying to get. And when he said that to me, I kind of like, that's not cool. But my goodness, it is so cool, because I immediately was like, well, I want to surround myself with the people that have been where I'm trying to go, right? I don't want to surround myself only with people that are leaning on me to carry them to another level, or, go somewhere differently or keep helping them, I need that help, right? So this circle of greatness is all about influence to me. It is by far the most impactful thing that I've done in my life is restructuring and reorganizing that circle of greatness. And I am proud and honored to say that you and Peter are in my circle of greatness. And I will tell you, my life has dramatically improved since that decision was made. More fun. My mind has opened up, more opportunities, but it's that you guys challenge, right? Both you and Peter challenge. And that's what I'm looking for in my life is somebody I can have honest conversations with, somebody I can share honestly with and not feel judged. And somebody that's going to say, you know what, I know where you're at, but have you seen it from this side? Have you seen this perspective, right? That's what I'm looking for in growth. So this circle of greatness, guys, is everything. I want positivity. I want inspiration. I want people that bring knowledge. I want to eliminate toxicity and repetitive habitual things that you just do because it's comfortable, right? We just go drink on Friday nights because that's what you do. You just go do the.
You don't do that? I do
don't.
that.
Just one night a week, maybe.
I can't wait to go home right now. Is it time yet? I'm not an alcoholic.
They're not,
but I did
no.
start thinking about it at 9 a.m.
Yeah. Maybe a function of the market and stress. But I want people that are not reliant on me, but are there to uplift and help, and people that bring ideas, right? It's tiring coming up with your own ideas all the time and where I should go next, or have I thought about that? So I want real reachable influence. That's where I'm at in my life.
As I'm thinking about the way that you're putting this, we're all in this together, right? We're experiencing this real estate market together. And yet some of us want to be the trailblazer, right? Like, so I want to be in front of the people that I'm closest to, which is hard because then how do you continue to grow as much as we all want that? So I do love that. And you've heard that before, like you're the average, you
five.
make the money of that, or you're worth the average of the 5 people that you hang out with, and this kind of influence. And so to surround yourself by people right now, and especially the positivity, I really want to double click on that. So many people are just struggling to, and I don't know that it's an intentional negativity. I don't think
100%.
it's that. I can't find my path to positivity.
That's right.
So how are we surrounding those people, pulling them up? Or if they can't get up, how are we removing them from our circle and surrounding ourselves with people who can?
That is a big one. Sometimes addition by subtraction is the best thing you can do in your life. And it doesn't mean you don't honor that person or love that person. It's just not the right fit at the right time. Right. And so this 5 is changing consistently. Right. So some things that I wrote down some tips that I use to connect with my circle of 5. Things that I think, okay, am I connected? Right? Am I connected? So I got to make sure I'm connecting with that circle of greatness often, right? Checking on them, just calling, how you doing? Ask about them, right? They're always going to ask about me. It's just a nice back and forth. I'm
You're
open.
really good at that.
I try to be. It is hard. I don't make a lot of phone calls, but the phone calls I make are very impactful to me and hopefully the other person as well. I'm not a mass phone caller. They've got to be intentional and mean something.
Well, you even text me. How
I
you
text
doing?
a lot. Yeah, I'm always texting people
I don't
like, how you
do
doing?
that very often.
Yeah.
I need to.
That's okay.
But no, it's good.
Here's what you can do. If you're not wired to do that, just make sure you reply to the people that are, right? And you're great at that. Reply to those people, because for me, I need the validation that we're in something together, right? I need to know that you're connected to me and that if I'm reaching out to you to ask, that you give a shit and that you care about me. So you don't have to be the one always going out and seeking how people are doing, but you better reply. And I think that's super important. Ask about them. Ask that next question. Okay, what else? Tell me what else. What else is going on? These are basic things, guys, but we often do that with the people we know the least because we want to transact with them or, get them into our database of people that we'll work with in the future. But we're often the hardest on the people we're closest to, right? Because we know it's a soft space to land. And that's unfair for this group. Yes, we're all there, judgment free, and we'll be there, but I got to make sure that that's not the deal, right? So I'm checking on everybody all the time. Get them together. Get your circle of 5 together all at once. That is a fun time. And we'll do that. And we've done that a couple of times with others, but when you leave that, you're so inspired. You're so ready to go. Share your goals and dreams. One thing that we do, so we take our girls on a trip after the new year. Every year for the holidays, we go somewhere. This year, they get to bring a friend, right? So I've got,
Wait, what?
I know, two 20-year-olds,
you
two
on a budget?
17-year-olds. Man, come on. It's got credit cards. No, I'm kidding. We paid for this trip a long time ago. So they're each bringing a friend, right? And so I talked to the girls last night and reminded them that when we do these trips, I want to spend at least one day there talking about what's next, right? I have them go through the ninja, the most incredible exercises you can do out there is 10 things you want to do, be, give, and have, right? 10 things you want in each one of those. I talk about it all the time. Do, be, give, and have. And we have our girls do that. And I reminded them of that. And I thought, oh God, they're going to be like, no, we're bringing our friends. We're good. And they both were like, yeah. And our friends will be doing this too. Right. So they're lifting people up around them. And their friends are all on board and excited. So that's some tips is to share those goals, share that do, be, give, and have with your circle of greatness, because they want to uplift you as well. Quarterly get-togethers, just get together, just schedule it. We do this like our vacations. We can't leave the time we're hanging out until we schedule our next hangout time, right? And we're usually pretty good about that. Try new things together, push each other, share your wins, but also share your losses. This is where the
So
real
important.
honesty of in that circle of greatness is. This isn't about what can you do for me and can I make more money because I'm hanging out with wealthier people? No, it's they have great habits and mindset, and I want that around. So I've got to bring them in when the time is shit.
Well,
and
the
not just
greatest
great.
learnings are in the failure.
That's right.
right. And if you don't
100%.
share that, then you just hoarded it to yourself.
That's right. And that's
Yeah.
just not, that's
No.
just selfish. So, so how do you know if you got the right people, right? Are you excited to share? Are you excited to hang out with them?
Yeah.
Right? Or are you going, oh, we got to do this and let's just put in our 2 hours and then we can get the hell out of there, right? Be honest. If people think you're part of their circle of greatness, let them know if you don't feel the same way, or pretend. But find your group that you're excited about, people that will challenge you, that you're always comfortable with, comfortable enough to be honest with, right? That's the point. Do you share the same values? Do you root for them the same way you root for yourself? This is where I got in a place where I was not necessarily rooting for the people in my circle of greatness because I didn't believe in what they were doing. And I felt that if that was their goal and I was attached to them, that became my goal. Right. And so I was almost guilty by association. And we didn't share the same values and I was not rooting for them. And not bad people, just not where I was aligned. Am I a better version of myself because of this group? And are there healthy commonalities that we share? And it's one thing that I will say about you with you and Peter, and we laugh about this, but you always push me to be a healthier person, whether it be mental, physical, spiritual, whatever. I always feel that when I'm around you guys, you can only achieve what you want when you're at your peak. Right. And you guys demand that people around you are at their peak, whether it's people you work with, your family, your kids. You have high demands of people. And I feel the same about those around me. So I'm going to go into this new year looking at influencers and influence differently than you hear out in the world. I'm going to look very local. I'm going to look internally and how I can be a better influence on those around me. And I'm going to look at my group and make sure that they check off that list of these are the people that I'm going to ride or die with in 2024 to try and get where I want to get. And I'm going to root like hell for them. And so that's where I'm looking at everybody around me as influence. And guys, I just challenge you. This is a huge gift you can give people is your influence, right? We talked about how people are bringing all these people with them to consume. Be one of those that gives them data, gives them knowledge, gives them the right questions and perspective. That's the influence we can give, whether it be your personal, your business, whatever. But I just wanted to lay that out there because I'm tired of hearing about influencers and what they bring to this world. I think it's less than. So
Less than. It is less than the whole social
That's me.
media influencers. I really like where you went with that. I don't know that I knew everything that I didn't know everything that you were going to talk about. We never know what we're going to talk about together. But going into this year, we have the advantage of having been here before, right? I think to a degree, 2023 was a ball crusher for a lot of us. So, but to have come out the other side, knowing that you're still in it, you're standing tall and strong, you want to achieve greatness in this industry because you want to serve.
Yeah.
And then have the data that allows you to align yourself with the client and where they're at, and be strategic and creative in their solutions to help them achieve whatever their goals are, and to be surrounded by the people that lift you up and challenge you to be better than where you were. That's the kind of 2024 I get excited about.
Bingo.
Not the one that tells me what the rate may be, what the number of transactions might turn out to be, right?
Yep.
Or what the home prices might be. Ultimately, I might buy something today that goes down a little in value. But if I am so knee deep with my clients where I know that they have no intention on selling, they want to hold this as an investment, or this is their forever home, or this is the home that they want to give to their kids, or this is the thing that's going to secure them 3 years from now because they're going to be retiring and it's a 1 level with 3 bedrooms, then that stuff fades. And the things that become important are the other things that in the data, in the influence, and
That's right.
in the structure, right? In the creative solutions.
That's right.
There are so many opportunities for greatness in 2024. I mean, everybody's going to tell you they're going to minimize it to say that 2024 is going to be slightly better than 2023. I would challenge you to surround yourself with that circle of greatness, that circle of influence, and not just make it slightly better than 2023, but exponentially better in different ways. And maybe it's not the money that you make or the loans that you close or the transactions that you close, but it's in the lives that you've served, the difference that you've made, the influence and the circle that you've established. It's what you leave behind,
That's right.
right?
That's right. Especially if we go into this holidays, how many of us are going to be at dinner with our families, and there's the things we will not talk about, right? Politics and, all that stuff. This is the conversation you'll be having. Goals and your direction in life is what you should be talking about at this dinner table this Christmas.
God, it's this weekend.
Holy crap.
I just keep thinking about that.
Yikes.
Well,
Hey,
yes.
this is me using my best Josh Turner.
I love
we've
it.
gone from Barry
yeah.
White to Josh Turner.
The
So
handler.
if you know, well, it's Josh Turner, just because I want to break this in. We got to do hot takes.
Okay.
Gotta
All
do
right.
hot
Bring
takes,
it.
hot
We have
takes.
no idea what's coming our way, do
All
we?
right.
No.
Hot takes. I was accused
Nervous.
last week of stealing somebody's jingle, but I brought up a new one, and it's going to be a little hot takes. Hot takes. This is the part where we take the takes and make them hot. All right.
I have to go home to
That's
him.
your man. That is
I
your
don't
man.
even-
Both of you are very familiar with the music by the Charlie Daniels Band. The Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so here's my hot take. And the people on, you guys probably can't hear it, but the people online are hearing the music in the background. Here's my hot take. The devil got robbed.
Wow.
Because he went down to Georgia.
Nope.
Wow.
His version was better than Johnny's. Here it goes. Yep. That's my hot take.
I love it.
That's my hot take. Opine on that.
Opine. We shall opine.
I'm gonna fire him tomorrow.
Oh, please.
Yes,
Let's
okay.
get done with him. Sorry.
I was just for the record, I was fired yesterday, and I was also fired 3 days before
the
that.
day before. She keeps bringing you back.
It's because I want to eat. He feeds me. We
Well,
all
just keep doing that.
we have to set our minimums. He hits it every day.
I
So-
will get in the car and listen to that song today. I will. It's just iconic. I'm not even a big country guy, but it is
No,
such an
Devil
iconic
Went Down to
song.
Georgia is a good song.
It's a great song.
So much to talk about right now. We're into the holidays. We've hopefully passed most of the holiday parties. Now we're until New Year's Eve. But here we are at Christmas. It's time to celebrate with our family as we kind of unpack all the forecasts and all the things and who our people are. I would say dive into what your goals are, what kind of 2024 you want to have, and what does that look like outside of the numbers, right?
Love it.
Mm,
I love it. Yeah.
so
You guys, this is awesome.
it was.
I feel good. I feel ready. I feel more ready after this than before we started for 2024. Like, let's go.
Like an hour ago or a couple
Yes.
weeks ago?
Even,
Okay.
yeah. Both. Yes. All. I feel like it's getting
Yeah.
building up. It's coming. So yeah,
It's
I'm
good.
excited. Guys, this is why it matters. This is what we're talking about. So Nicole, thank you for all you do to make this happen. Thank you, the team behind the scenes. You guys share your brain. It's amazing to get in there. Yours is frightening. I feel very dumb when I'm around you most of the time, but
Oh.
thank you for sharing it and for breaking it down for
Yeah.
us dumb people that we can do that. We're excited for the next one.
Well, thank you. I love our time together. And as always, guys, make sure to follow us on the social channels. Please bring your friends to the party next time because we're going to continue to expand on why it matters. So starting with the new year, we've got our schedule planned out through all of 2024, where we're going to be putting this now going forward. You will only see us live on Zoom. Right? Because right now we put it on Facebook, Agent Ignite right away. We're actually going to start loading it on YouTube.
Yes.
So you will see this live on Wednesdays if you sign up for Zoom, or you'll see it the next day on Thursday on YouTube as we start to transition towards our podcast.
Yes.
So I'm really excited. We also are going to be releasing some information about our new Empire schedule for 2024. We've got a whole new take on the investment series. So stay tuned for that. And if you have not gotten your next big thing ticket yet,
Come
make
on.
sure to get it between now and the end of the year. We're throwing in free parking. Nobody wants to
That's
pay for parking. Nobody wants to pay for anything.
Nobody wants to pay for anything.
Free
You guys did
covered
that.
Parking. It's
Free
covered,
Covered
people.
Free
parking.
covered in the complex. This is in the Denver Center of Performing Arts, and I
Yep.
cannot wait for the next.
It's
big
gonna be so
thing.
good. You guys, this speaker lineup is ridiculous. So from around the nation, some of the best people you're gonna see. So get your tickets. Here we
Yes.
go. We
And-
ready?
Yes, and we'll see you in the new year. You guys have a great day.